Remember when Call of Duty went full sci-fi? This was the strangest, most diverse era the franchise ever had. Some people hated it, some people miss it, but everyone remembers it. How's it going, everyone? My name is Bearsy. In this video, we're going to be talking about the strangest era that Call of Duty has ever had, going from the ups and the downs. You guys name it. Without further ado, let's go. So before I can even talk about the jetpack era of Call of Duty, we have to look at the prior years of Call of Duty, that being the golden era, I guess you could say, of Call of Duty. You know, we've gotten banger after banger of releases. You know, games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, games like Call of Duty Black Ops 2. You know, we were just feeling like in the moment, like, you know, nothing could stop us because these were the best games of all time when we were younger or if you're older. So these games just kept on coming with amazing gameplay mechanics and, you know, like perfect time to kill. Modern Warfare 2 was really broken at the time, but, you know, it was just fun. It was quirky and it was just such a blast to actually play. So when Call of Duty Ghosts came out, you know, us fans were really feeling fatigued with the franchise. You know, we wanted to try something new. We were tired of boots on the ground, so we wanted to experience something fresh because we were really getting sick and tired of the same old feeling Call of Duty, just with different guns and, you know, just a slightly different mechanics. So when Activision and, you know, Sledgehammer and Treyarch heard our cries, what they decided to do was bring the biggest shift ever to a Call of Duty franchise that us fans were never expecting in a million years, and we were all super excited about it. And this is the story of Advanced Warfare. So when we saw, you know, pretty much all the trailers towards this game, you know, how the exo movement's gonna work, you know, how it's gonna flow and everything else in between, us fans were super excited that we actually got something innovative for the Call of Duty franchise. And we really haven't seen anything this innovative since pretty much Call of Duty 4 when they brought perks into the game, if you guys remember those days, and also when Modern Warfare 2 brought in kill streaks. So this was a big shift on how everything was because it completely changed one thing: movement. And this really was our first taste of exosuits throughout the entirety of the Call of Duty franchise. So they really showed us how, like, movement completely changed. And I remember at the beginning, everybody was hyped at first, including myself, that we were all, you know, super excited to dive into this game and actually use jetpacks to experience the advanced warfare, you know, all the memes surrounding it. You know, then later down the line, you know, a lot of mixed feelings really were happening. You've had some people that really liked the advanced movement system, like myself. You had some people who really hated it and they just didn't want to do it anymore, you know, after it was the biggest shift ever within the Call of Duty franchise. And you had some people in the middle that were saying, okay, this is alright, you know, I kind of miss my older movement, but I don't hate this movement. So overall, it was just like a mixed bag of emotions here, you know, with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. But not only that, there were so much nostalgic memories of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. You know, supply drops, you know, you guys remember those with the microtransactions. You know, supply drops, nostalgic maps, and even nostalgic weapons that even see the light of day to this day, like the Bal 27 and the Moore sniper rifle, which, you know, even they paid homage to both of those, you know, with the Moore's quick bolt, you know, being an attachment within Modern Warfare 3, which is just so ironic and so cool. And that's not even the start of it. You know, this was just a building ground for them. So what they decided to do next was Treyarch made a game called Black Ops 3. But before we talk about Black Ops 3, I just want to say really quickly, if you guys are enjoying the video, please smash that thumbs up button to help out this mysterious algorithm that Einstein can't even figure out. Also, subscribe to the channel if you guys do want to see more videos like this. Right now, I'm currently experimenting, just having fun while also creating, you know, quality content for you guys. But without further ado, let's talk about Black Ops 3 now. So, Black Ops 3, the best Call of Duty jetpack game that there was at the time, and pretty much is now, unless they make another jetpack Call of Duty game later down the line, which honestly, I have no idea if they're going to do. I want them to, but I don't think they are going to. But honestly, like, when all the trailers came out, and when all the marketing came out, you know, the multiplayer itself was actually a really good experience. You know, a lot of people define it as really the peak of jetpack gameplay, because it was just so smooth, and it flowed so well compared to Advanced Warfare, where instead of you jetting straight up and instead of dashing, you have more of like this smooth boost meter where you can actually control, while also, you know, all like the hardcore players, like the competitive players, were really using this to their advantage. And this is where like the stick and move function really became useful, or if you had like scuff controllers, it's also where it really became useful, because, you know, if it wasn't for, you know, scuff controllers, a lot of people like myself at the time were really just having a difficult time doing this. And also they brought wall running to the game as well, which just made it a lot more fluent and guns battles just felt incredible. Like the guns that were in that game, the score streaks, the specialist system, everything else just in between is what, really considers itself as the best Call of Duty experience ever. And not only that, zombies, Black Ops 3 Zombies was the peak of zombies. And, you still see a ton of videos to this day. In fact, you're seeing like Easter egg guides present, challenge runs, and also custom maps, custom zombies in Black Ops 3 that are still getting maps added to this day. Like the zombies was one part of it. The multiplayer was another part of it. Campaign, I'm not a campaign person, so I really can't speak on this too much, but campaign, in itself, I heard it was good, but I'm not too entirely sure on that, so just don't quote me on that. But, just the zombies and the multiplayer is what I'm really talking about, and this is why, this game was just so perfect. Everything. It was just awesome. But we're going to go into a game that's not so perfect now, and that is what you guessed, Infinite Warfare. This game, has gotten so much hate. I want to talk about the whole entire situation with this game because it is absolutely wild. Fans are really just getting burnt out of jetpacks at this time. They didn't want jetpacks anymore. They wanted boots on the ground, just everything else in between. They really wanted something different and actually just to go back to the roots of what Call of Duty used to be. And some people were saying that IW was just pretty much too futuristic, where they didn't want to go that far in the future. I didn't have a problem with that, but if you guys did, let me know down there in the comment section below. But honestly, the amount of dislikes that this trailer got at launch, it was just one of the most disliked, I think Call of Duty, not even Call of Duty videos, the most disliked video on YouTube, for a while. And I'm pretty sure it still is that point too. If I can find it, I'll post the pictures of the dislikes here on the channel. But just fans were not having it. The multiplayer was decent. I didn't have a problem with the multiplayer, but a lot of people really did. And I can't see why. I don't know, maybe that's just my ignorant self talking. I wasn't the best fan of Infinite Warfare multiplayer. I think it had fine time to kill. I think the specialist system was a lot more diverse than Black Ops 3. But I don't know, everything with the weapon rarity system, the maps and, the jetpacks, I just really don't have an idea. So I want to talk a little bit about zombies, because zombies was actually the best that we've seen, for a while too. And I don't know what it was with IW zombies, but it was just so goofy and so fun. You had maps in Zombies in Spaceland, Raven the Wedwoods, and Beast from Beyond that just felt different. Every single map felt unique, and it wasn't a big copy and paste. Let's look at Black Ops 6, for example, or even Cold War, where a lot of the maps just felt facility maps. Infinite Warfare definitely didn't have that. Every single zombies map was in a film, and it was just set to a different era. It was a cool experience, don't get me wrong. And also multiplayer was a decent experience, but it just received so much hate. I just feel for not a big reason. I don't know. I was too young at the time, so I really can't recall about what happened during that time. All I can look at is the facts, and this is the most disliked trailer of all time. But now, the funny thing is, which I want to talk about next, is the nostalgia factor. There's just a crazy thing, because a lot of people hated these, but now a lot of people are actually looking back on these titles just saying they're really not that bad. Why is that? Why are people so looking fondly on this stuff now as opposed to when it was at its prime? Well, it had a high skill ceiling. A lot of Call of Duties now can't replicate this exact gameplay unless they were to go and make another jetpack era Call of Duty, Black Ops 25, for example. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. But it can't really be replicated, things like boost jumping and wall jumping. Sure, we have things now sliding and diving, and also just tack sprinting, which is just the most stupidest thing out there. But, gameplay mechanics like jetpacking is not going to be replicated unless they make another one. And honestly, these games just really had iconic weapons and maps. When we look at weapons, we had the VMP, we had the Bal 27, we had the Moore sniper rifle, we had the ERAD, we had the KBS longbow. And if you guys remember the Proteus aimbot sniper rifle that was in the game for quite some time, that was also just very nostalgic, and that's always going to be remembered out there. But it's compared to today's Call of Duty, where Call of Duty is a lot slower, a lot safer, and less experimental, unless you're talking about skill-based matchmaking out there, because that's just stupid. I still can't believe that's in the game, 5 years later. But honestly, these games are a lot faster paced. When you look at a game like Advanced Warfare, it really didn't have skill-based matchmaking. So did Black Ops 3 and so did Infinite Warfare. But these games are a lot faster paced, and I feel that's why a lot of Call of Duty fans are really looking fond on these now, because they're just so fast paced and so fun and so out there. And now what I want to do is just talk about the legacy of the jetpack era. So the legacy of the jetpack era, pretty much it was divisive at the time, but honestly it was the most unforgettable experience out there. Like, how could you forget a jetpack era Call of Duty? I mean, unless you've never played it, then I could see how you can forget it, but it really did just set up the future of all Call of Duties going forward, because we haven't had a jetpack Call of Duty since, like I said, unless they make one like Black Ops 25, but I don't think they're going to. No, now we've had games like Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and even the recent Call of Duties like Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So honestly, this was just a once-in-a-lifetime experience in Call of Duty history that I just don't think that they're going to replicate again. I don't know. Only time will tell with this, but I just have no idea. So now it's your turn in the comment section below to answer this question. Do you want to see jetpacks return for Call of Duty in the future? Yes or no? And tell me why down there in the comment section below, because I'm very intrigued to hear your answer on this. Personally, for me, I would love to, only because it made such a dynamic change to the Call of Duty series, and honestly, I think it would be a great addition, or maybe just have a separate mode for it. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. I just want to say, if you guys did enjoy the video, smash the thumbs up button, share this video, do whatever you guys want to do, subscribe to the channel for more Call of Duty stuff. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. This is Bearsy signing off. Stay healthy, stay clean. Bye.